expand into those ungoverned spaces. What are they, and what do we expect next? And they're giving out threats about New Year's Eve.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we've defeated them where they lived. That doesn't mean it's over. We've made great progress, and as you said in the run-up, Dave, the Pentagon has done what it's supposed to do. It's done its job and done it extraordinarily well. What we need to do now is allow the Pentagon to continue to do its job. Prior to President Trump coming in, I was part of the transition team. I was part of those discussions where the president made it very clear, I want you to go out and do your job. So the big thing now, David, is for the president to continue to allow General Joe Dunford and Jim Mattis to do their job. Joe's been very good about this by, with, and through strategy, working through allies and folks who are there on the ground. We need to expand that, and we have to go after ISIS everywhere they are now, which includes Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, Libya, and other places. But the bottom line is we're making solid progress.
All right, so, David, bringing this home to the American home front, what Tony talks about involves other aspects of human intelligence. We've got to have counterintelligence operations. But here on the ground, sheriffs like yourself, the law enforcement community in this country, are responsible for the people in their communities. Let's bring that aspect into us. What we can do when ISIS goes into those ungoverned spaces, when they inspire others on the internet, or someone takes up that flag, such as it is.
Well, first of all, there has to be an effective counter strategy to their rhetoric, to their recruitment, things like that. But before I get too far into that, it's been incredible the progress that's been made with ISIS. We went from a president who called them, and Obama calling them the JV of terror organizations, to being a worldwide threat. And then we have a commander-in-chief now in Donald Trump, whose rhetoric packs a punch. Look, our enemies, they're afraid of this guy. They're afraid of this country again. Donald Trump has taken the gloves off of the United States military. He's changed the rules of engagement, and he has used the military for what they're designed to do, and what they're designed to do well is to fight and win wars. So couple that with the efforts here at home, and it's always going to be challenging. There's always going to be threats. Look, we're an open society. We're a target-rich environment. But I'll tell you what, these folks over there, these terrorists, will be thinking twice about attacking the interior of the United States, because there will be severe consequences when they do.
Tony, there are other areas, and this is a larger ideological problem, not just related to ISIS. The decimation, the loss of that caliphate in the desert that they wanted to build as a symbol, call it their version of their Mecca, their worldview. But also, they're expanding. They're in Myanmar. Right. Radicals are operating around the world. We have an attack in Russia that's being looked into as a possible terrorist attack earlier today. So what about taking on that issue?
Well, as Sheriff Clarke said, look, we've got to get ahead of this regarding human intelligence. We have to defeat a network, you have to penetrate a network. And to your point, David, I work with Sheriff David Decatur down in Stafford County here in Virginia. I'm his Homeland Security Advisor. We have to figure out a way to bridge the understanding of that threat from foreign sources to the United States, how radicalization happens both through migration and through online assault, essentially, the conversion. So this is something now we have to go to the next level. Okay, we deprived them of the space. We're on their tail. We're going to beat them, but we have to defeat the ideology, and that's where we have to go next with this, and that has to be both foreign and a domestic effort to do that.
All right, so David, Sheriff Clarke, I got to tell you, part of the problem that I see is how we deal with the terrorists in this country, be they American citizens or not. I'm not for violating the United States Constitution in any way, but there needs to be a serious discussion about designating them as enemy combatants from a law enforcement perspective, someone who's upheld that shield. What do you say to that?
It's long been my position. Look, this is one of two ways we can approach this. Either that these things are criminal acts, which I do not think they are, or they're acts of war. I believe they are acts of war. And so there are different rules that apply to enemy combatants. I think Gitmo needs to be used when these individuals are here in the United States. I think you need to isolate them from the American justice system. It's a higher standard to try to overcome when you try to convict these individuals. And you don't want them mixed in with the American prison population, where they can use it as a recruiting ground, and they can convert American prisoners over to their side. So, but that's something that, between the President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief Donald Trump, the Pentagon, the State Department, those are decisions that Congress, too, plays a role in this as to how we're going to handle this. But I think it needs to be reviewed.
All right, gentlemen, I've got about a minute left, and I have to throw this topic in there because it puts a little bit of a smile on my face, and it will drive the left absolutely nuts. They're naming a train station in Israel built right there near the Western Wall after President Donald John Trump. Tony, first to you.
Hey, we should see a bipartisan vote in Congress saying they support this. This has been, you know, the Democrats are talking out of both sides of the mouth, so this is a good thing.
All right, David, to you.
How cool is that? The Trump train on the wall over in Israel. It just goes to show the respect they have for Commander-in-Chief Donald Trump, who has made it clear during the campaign. He said, we will always be on the side of Israel. He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. This is great.
It is great. I tell you, the Knesset Minister Katz says they felt this was the appropriate thing to do. David Clarke, Tony Shaffer, guys, great to talk to you.